Australians, all let us rejoice, for we've been Barnaby.
National Party room meeting this morning. There was a spill motion put forward, and Barnaby Joyce has been elected leader of the National Party at a federal level.
Yep, cameras were rolled, and so was the Nats leader after a hectic day in Canberra.
Instead of rolling out the vaccine to the Australian people, they've just concentrated on rolling each other.
The most democratic party in Australia.
The rolling of Michael McCormack represents the sixth combination of Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister.
Abbott Trust, Turnbull, Joyce, Turnbull, McCormack, Morrison, McCormack, and now Morrison, Joyce.
That's what it's called, democracy.
Outgoing leader Michael McCormack philosophical on his way to political slaughter.
Who knows what the future holds? Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. Future's not ours to see. I'm quoting Doris Day. Now I've got to go. See ya. All the best.
And go he did.
I wish Barnaby Joyce all the best as leader of the National Party.
Well, if I thought it was something that I expected to happen, I would have brought my hat.
Joyce clawing his way back for a second crack at the job. 2 spills and 3 years after resigning over a string of scandals, including the Barnaby and sexual harassment claims he denies.
I acknowledge my faults. I resigned. I've spent 3 years on the backbench. I can be a better person, do a better job,
A better job, perhaps, but more importantly to some of the Nats that backed him, a collier job?
There's a higher authority right up there in the sky.
Earlier this year, Barnaby threatened to cross the floor over talk of a net zero by 2050 emissions target. His approach to climate change promising to be a headache for the government.
As the leader, I'll be talking with my party room about what they believe is best for them and then fighting on that premise.
Barnaby's trademark fight no doubt simmering below the surface as the government and the rest of us strap ourselves in for a wild ride.
Que sera, sera.
Wow, Peter Van Onselen is our guy on the ground and he joins us now. PVO, gosh, it's been a while between leadership spills. Where did all of this come from?
Look, Barnaby's wanted the job back for a while now, but what was unclear until today was whether there were enough colleagues in the National Party room who were prepared to go to him rather than just simply be, discontented with the job that Michael McCormack was doing. A majority was long unhappy with his performance, there's no doubt about that, but whether they were prepared to support Barnaby, well, that came as a little bit of a shock to a lot of us today.
The big issue on the table with Barnaby Joyce as Deputy PM, I should say, is climate change and net zero by 2050. Does this do anything to the government on that issue?
Oh, I think it does. I mean, Malcolm, how quickly we forget. Michael McCormack was also against the move that Scott Morrison's been looking to make on this to net zero emissions by 2050. But Barnaby Joyce is much more vocal about it and will make the Nationals much more robust about it. And this was one of the issues amongst the colleagues, I think, who were willing to switch to him. They worried that Michael McCormack may well be of the view that ultimately he would go along with Scott Morrison, and too many Nationals had too much of a problem with that. So this is now a really awkward one for Scott Morrison because he has been trying to crab walk towards that particular target.
Peter, as well as climate change, the other debate is about what impact this might have on the female vote. Michelle Laundrie, the Nationals MP, said it could be damaging. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think it probably will be damaging. The interesting thing will be whether there are women who are still voting for the coalition, Liberal or Nationals, who are now no longer going to because of Barnaby, as opposed to women who had already been turned off the coalition for all sorts of reasons, who are now just even more turned off. That won't matter electorally because they've already lost those votes. Mia Davies is the Nationals leader over in WA. She's already been critical of Barnaby Joyce. There are no National seats federally in WA, but this could affect Liberal seats as much as National seats, and that's what a lot of Scott Morrison's strategists would be worried about.
Barnaby's been a big supporter of the Billa family. Do you think now his role as Deputy PM could help that family?
It should, because he's been so vocal, but he has a track record, Barnaby Joyce, of being an outspoken maverick when he's not inside the tent. But then when he gets his front bench promotion, he tends to come on board a little bit more. So my worry, as someone who would like to see him stay vocal on the Billa family, is that he won't stay vocal now that he's got his cabinet position and deputy prime ministership. But who knows? Because he's been so outspoken on it, fingers crossed.
PVO, if you were to pinpoint a moment that was the death knell for Michael McCormack, would it be this one?
Can you rap?
Not very well.
Show us one more time. You know, make sure you get the jab, you know.
I mean, was it the fact that he kept on going back to the rap for some reason, PBO?
That was certainly a loss of credibility, no two ways about that. But I would pinpoint it last week where he said that there's nowhere else that he would rather be in this nation than Australia. I think that kind of summed up his rhetorical skills right there.
Well, hang on, that's true. That's true.
I suppose. Look, Australia is also the greatest planet on Earth, let's be honest.
Thanks, PBO.
See you guys.
My favourite bit of that clip is still Koshy. Okay. This time.
Yeah, when it's too daggy for Koshy, you know you have issues. And before the...
From expert opinions to in-depth analysis and reporting, the Project YouTube brings you the biggest stories from Australia and around the globe. Hit the subscribe button now for news delivered straight to your feed.